had a friend who was like, who didn't know anything about Joy-Con drift or anything like that, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know why."
What's Joy-Con drift?
You don't know anything about Joy-Con drift?
I obviously don't play my
it's when
Switch
the
enough.
It's when the D-pad just does.
So unfortunately, there's a massive lawsuit going on. I don't know if it's been resolved with Nintendo and a bunch. It's a class action.
Right.
Essentially, the controllers, after like a random period of time, they just start drifting the Joy-Con, like the joystick on its own.
Right.
It's not just the Joy-Cons either. The Pro controllers do the same thing.
Yeah. And it's been a massive problem, and people have to buy so many Joy-Cons, and Joy-Cons aren't cheap. They're like $60.
Like 60, 70 bucks.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And and they drift. And I had a friend who was playing it, and bless them, they're not really a gamer, and they were like, "Yeah, so when I'm playing it, sometimes I just go to the side. Why is that?" And I'm like, "First time." Huh? Yeah, so Nintendo made a shitty product that doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with it. Buy a new one if you don't like it.
Spend more money.
Yeah, Nintendo says they'll fix it as well, that they have like warranty or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the last thing
I don't wanna deal
that
with that
something
shit.
like that happened to me was the infamous Xbox Red Rings of Death.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that was such a debacle. Like how we
What a
quickly
fucking
forgot about
clown
it.
fiesta that was,
Yeah.
man.
Did you have to send your Xbox away to Microsoft?
No. So like, I did this like fucking guerrilla tactic that I found on the internet of like now that I know what I'm doing, I was just basically overheating the Xbox. So what you do is you fucking wrap a towel around it, and then I'm actually serious. You wrap a towel around it, and then you turn on the Xbox and leave it for like a few hours. So you're just basically overheating.
You're cooking it.
Yeah, you're overheating or cooking your fucking CPU or
Are you
something.
sure there's not like a 4chan thread to set your house on fire? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, very, very much like a fire hazard. But for
How to be an arsonist with an Xbox.
For some reason, for some inexplicable reason, it worked. And I have no idea why.
Wait. So
Definitely-
do you want to explain what the Red Ring of Death is for people who don't know?
So back when Xbox released their Xbox 360,
They rushed it out and it was poorly manufactured.
Yeah.
It had many problems.
yeah, so if you bought one of the first generation consoles that were released, you basically had a time limit, right? It was basically like a year or two.
Right.
And every Xbox had this where you'd play and then one day, for one reason that nobody could tell, it just wouldn't work.
Right.
And so you would get the 3 rings, right? So when the Xbox turns on, right, you'd see like a green ring around the power button.
Yeah.
And basically, it was split into 4 segments, and the red rings of death meant 3 segments were red, which means something was wrong with the startup.
Right.
And nobody, like, we called it the red rings of death because everyone had this issue, and it never got resolved. And how you would resolve it is to basically send it back to the manufacturer.
It cost
right?
Microsoft billions
Jeez.
because of all this shit. Because it happens so often.
Right.
And my friend, I had 2 friends who had it. So we had a group of 4 of us who all played Xbox.
Yeah.
And I never got it, thank God. I would have actually cried. Because what my friend had to go through sounded like my worst nightmare as a 16-year-old me.
Yeah.
He got the Red Ring of Death and he had to send it back. And then they sent back an Xbox that was refurbished and it was someone else's and it didn't work.
Yeah.
What?
So and again, like this.
So they're just recycling Xboxes.
Apparently they were doing stuff like this. Like it was pretty widespread.
Jeez.
So he sent it and they called them up. Again, this is like over months. Like I think it took like half a year to get it fixed
Jesus.
overall. He had to send it back like 3 times before they finally fixed it. And then it broke 6 months later and he just gave up. He was like, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
I'm not sending it
hell.
out. I mean, this is that literally like scared me to death. I was like, the thought of my Xbox dying, I was like, this is my lifeline. Like if this goes, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. If I can't play Halo Reach, I'm going to lose it. It's going to be everyone's problem.